You are listening to Hello Cupcake, It's Me, a podcast with your host, Michael Peterson.
Hey everyone, Michael here with Hello Cupcake, It's Me, a podcast, and today is November 6th, 2025, and isn't it a fun time to be alive? If you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe, then head on over to youtube.com/hellocupcakeitsme to check out the YouTube channel that is updated every Wednesday and Saturday. Also follow me on TikTok for TikTok Tuesdays. It's a 10-minute segment that is done every Tuesday. And then make sure you go to hellocupcakeitsme.com to give the blog some love. And make sure that you also follow me on all the different social media platforms and check out my book, Carpe Diem Scroto, 365 Daily Affirmations, found at www.cdsthebook.com. So, how the hell is everyone doing? I am very tired. I'm exhausted, and all I want to do is go to bed, and I forgot that I even needed to do this podcast. So here I am. Probably will be a short podcast. Sorry about that. But got up at 6:15 this morning and walked a mile, and then I swam a little over a mile. So as of right now, I'm sitting at 4.60 miles total for the day. And I still have an entire rest of my day ahead of me. So I'm pretty excited about that. Because I started a new fitness challenge for the month of November, which is for Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, and really looking forward to doing this and getting the new medal for that, and just doing additional exercises and besides what I have been doing already. And this is my first week of doing them, and I'm like really getting my ass handed to me, but really happy and thankful that I have the ability to do so. And um, earning these medals it's like a really good dopamine thing for me. So really enjoying that. Also, there is just a lot going on. Uh, you know, I'm really happy with the blue wave that just happened across just throughout the East Coast and some in the West Coast. And people have just been crashing out over that. And I have been called everything from an American traitor to basically a baby diddler. And all because of my support for Zohan winning New York, and for some of the other people that have won their Democratic positions. And just a lot of stupidity on people's parts across the board. So it's just been kind of interesting to see how the crash out is really bringing out the quote unquote best in Americans. So whatever. But my biggest concern right now is SNAP benefits, not just for like the fact that I receive SNAP benefits. I can make do. I'm worried about my neighbors. I'm worried about the single parents. I'm worried about the parents that have special needs children that cannot work because they can't afford daycare for the special needs child, or the disabled veteran, the homeless people that are affected by this, the people that are 65 and above that are either disabled or on some kind of pension. I'm worried about them. And does this play into some of the food insecurities that I have? Of course it does. But I have a little bit of a system in place that I am able to fall back on. And my family has already said that if there's anything that I need, all I have to do is ask. And um, so I'm thankful for having that support and that network. I am still utilizing the food banks, but I did not go this week just because, one, I forgot. Two, um, I'm going to try to go every other week just so that there's more for everyone else. And yeah. So all of that aside, I have just been pushing myself a little bit harder each and every day to get a little bit more done. Try to stay off of like Facebook and looking at political posts and xenophobia posts, transgender or anti-transgender, anti-LGBT, um, just all of that other stuff. And it's like I have literally started just reporting content and blocking people. And I can't tell you the number of people that I have considered friends for a long time that I've reported their content. But yeah, blocking people is one of the things that I've just started doing just for my own mental health. Is like I report their content, I block them, and I move on about my business because I have friends and family that are part of the legitimate premium community. I have friends that are directly affected by the government shutdown. I have friends who work for government facilities that are directly affected by the shutdown. And it's just a bunch of bullshit. So what I've been doing instead is, like I said, just focusing on my own peace, my own health, what is best for my household, not what is best for my neighbor, not what is best for my neighbor's dog walker, none of that other stuff, just what is best for me and myself. And I was talking to my therapist about this yesterday when I was in session, and that it's going to take a lot to walk back the amount of damage and the amount of hate that has spewed forth from this administration, and just how there's this part of me that cannot allow ignorance to be loud and I be in the same room. And I know it's one of those pick your battle type situations, but when people speak out on mental health issues that have absolutely no idea what the hell actual mental health issues are, like saying that being trans or gay or this or that is a mental health issue, I take that as a personal challenge and a hill that I am willing to die on in order to correct those people. And I have like 10 different files saved on my phone that I just copy and paste from the entire time whenever I'm answering people. And you really know that you are dealing with people who don't have a good education or have really anything, like any actual retort against what you're saying, when they start attacking your physical appearance. And people going on my Facebook profile and like picking things apart, like, oh well, you look like da 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 da, like, oh really, okay, so that means that I, that's the equivalent of, I know you are, but what am I? Or I'm rubber, you're glue. What the hell ever, like when you have backed somebody into a corner, or that they cannot intelligently or whatever just have a conversation or have anything to say, people automatically go to the like name calling and the, oh well, you're just a fat such and such and blah 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 and hooda hooda. And um one of the people who accused me of being a PDF file uh said that, oh yeah, you look exactly like I thought you did, like you live in your mom's basement or whatever else and blah blah. I'm like, fuck, I wish I could live in my mom's basement. At least, the two of us living together under the same roof would give her the financial support she needs, give me the financial support I need, and we both could help each other out. Like, that's not an insult. Like, yeah, that might have been an insult 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, but with the newer trend of people staying at home longer and longer and having multi-generational households, that's not the insult you think it is. Like, yeah, you should want to be able to live away from your parents, but in many cultures throughout the world, it's seen as an obligation and a privilege to live with your parents, because that means that your parents are still healthy enough to be alive, regardless of if there's if they're good people or not. Just, in general, it's a privilege to still have your parents. And I'm just like, when people start name calling me, I'm just like, okay, I've backed you into a corner, and now you have to try to be the Nelson Muntz of the conversation, and doing that whole like schoolyard bully thing. So yeah, go right on ahead. But so yeah, I'm consistently making friends online with just pointing out, like, actually, this is what the Bible really said about XYZ. Oh no, this is what actually was said about this as a mental health, in accordance with the MD5 or MSD5 handbook, page whatever, section whatever, subsection here, here you go. And when I correct people, I come with receipts. Like, I pull from multiple sources. I'm like, okay, here's what um, Psychology Today has to say about this. Here's what the Mayo Health Clinic has to say about this. Here is what Cambridge University has to say about this. Here's what Harvard has to say about it. Here is a peer-reviewed uh, thing out of the medical journal. Like, so please, by all means, tell me how you believe that you know better than titans in their industry. And one thing that you may or may not know about me, depending on how new you are to my content, is not only am I a mental health advocate and a mental health author, published author, but I study mental health. And, I have enough experience under my belt that if I was to have to return to the workforce because my disability was, my SSD was removed from me for whatever reason, I would be able to almost seamlessly slip into the mental health field and be a practitioner. And I stay on top of all of the education and stuff that is required by the healthcare authority. I take my mandatory 16 to 25 hour a year classes, and I make sure that I'm constantly reading peer review journals and just staying on top of and abreast of what's going on in the mental health universe, what methodologies are still being utilized, what methodologies are being phased out because they are finding that they're not as effective as they once thought that they were, things like that. So that's just one small snippet of my life. The other one is I have a lot of information about queer history. And, there are key players throughout the gay community that have shaped the world that we live in today. Martha P. Jones, an amazing trans black advocate. She did so much to change the stereotypes in the black community and in black culture and things like that. Harvey Milk, an openly gay politician in San Francisco in the 1970s. You have Matthew Shepard, who was beaten and tied to a fence in Laramie, Wyoming, and left to die. And you have all of the wonderful things that his mother, Judy Shepard, has done. And she's got the Judy Shepard Foundation. She's got the Matthew Shepard Foundation. There's the Laramie Project. There's all kinds of wonderful things that came from this tragic death. And then you have so many other people. You have the Stonewall riots. You have the gays and lesbians support the coal miners in the UK. So much of queer history. Then for somebody else to come along and be like, oh no, these fags are doing XYZ, or these stupid dykes are blah blah, and it's like, by the way, no, they're not. And here's the receipts for those. So is it futile? Yes, it is very futile to try to change these bigoted outcomes and these bigoted ways of thinking. But, as long as I have the ability to do so, I'm going to call it out where I see it needs to be called out at. So, anyways, enough about all of that. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here just because I am barely able to keep my eyes open right now. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
tired of mental health books that feel like homework or therapy sessions in disguise? Carpe Diem Scroto is not that book. Written by author Michael Peterson, utilizing his own personal mental health journey, It's your daily dose of clarity, humor, and healing, designed to meet you exactly where you are. Whether you're sipping coffee in chaos or taking a quiet minute for yourself, this book gives you real, raw tools to reframe your day, your mindset, and your life. Unlike anything else on the market, Carpe Diem's Grow To blends personal storytelling, practical mental health strategies, and a keep-it-real attitude that makes self-work feel like self-empowerment. Use it daily. Share it with a friend, or grow at your own pace. Ready to reclaim your day with bite-sized brilliance? Head to www.cdsthebook.com to grab your copy or learn more.
In a world full of comparing to somebody who cares in the world. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You have been listening to Hello Cupcake, It's Me, a podcast with your host, Michael Peterson. Please make sure to check back often as new episodes are released bi-weekly. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to send a message to hellocupcakeitsme@gmail.com. And until next time, stay happy, safe, and keep doing the best you can with what you have been given.